So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for coming out in the rain to come and attend our event. We're very happy to see you here, and we hope everyone can find a seat. There's also live streaming elsewhere in the hall. So my name is Jocelyn DeYoung, and I direct something called the Graduate Council, which is responsible for graduate education, graduate students, graduate studies. And we organize this event once a year, and this event is for you. It's for you to make your decisions about whether to apply to AUB, and if so, which programs you'd like to apply to. So you may already know what you want to study. You may have decided, but many of you may not have decided. So today is really to give you the full range of information and the possibility for you to answer all the questions that you need to have answered, one-on-one with faculty members, with alumni, with students. We have lots of different activities planned. I won't run through them all. I think you have the program. Please experiment. Feel free to go to as many sessions, faculty-specific sessions, wherever you want to go to get the answers to your questions. So once again, I'd like to welcome you. We have this plenary session planned to really give you an overview of what it is to be a graduate student at AUB. And the first thing that I'd like to do is welcome President Khoury, who's going to talk about 5 good reasons to be a graduate student at AUB. Welcome, President Khoury.
Hello, good afternoon. It's wonderful to be with you today. I'm going to stick to script for a minute, and then I'm going to give you some reasons in addition to the 5 good reasons. It's a young group, a group full of hope and anticipation, which is what we want. And there are 5 very good reasons to choose AUB, things that you can count on. But I've been recruiting faculty and staff now for close to 3 decades. And in addition to these 5 reasons, I'm going to tell you some of the things that you will get at AUB that are perhaps intangible, but in some ways just as important. So reputation. The reputation of the university since its founding in 1866 has continued to grow. It's sustained high academic standards with accreditation, and the university is accredited by the Middle States in the US, by New York State. Many faculties have discipline-specific accreditation. The degrees are registered both in the Ministry of Education, Higher Education in Lebanon, and in the New York State Education Department. So reputation is really peerless in this part of the world. Research. As a graduate student, you want to participate in research. You at least want to try it to see if that's going to be your calling for the rest of your life or something you need to be aware of and able to sift through. So as a graduate student, you would be in joining a truly exciting research environment. Our world-class faculty, some of whom are here on the stage and in the audience, are actively involved in research, bringing their research insights to the classrooms. AUB's faculty produces 17% of Lebanon's research output in 2024, but 30% of the top-tier research in the country. Think about that for a second. This is a small university, really only 600 plus research-intensive faculty, and yet it produces more than 30% of the high-impact research for the country in the ecosystem. You'll have plenty of opportunities to engage in research with faculty members inside and outside your academic program and to explore new areas of interest. For example, our PhD students from 2018 to 2023 were on average co-authors on 6 international high-quality peer-reviewed publications. The average for PhD programs is closer to 2 to 3. I'm talking the international standards, so that's important. Variety. The number of programs, the degree of difference between them that you have to choose from. 60 master's programs, 14 PhD programs, several more online programs across 7 faculties and schools, from research to professional programs. And these are growing each and every year. Student diversity. So this is the most diverse university in the country, in the region. By country of origin, we have people from 90 different countries. By location, you have a campus in Beirut and a campus in Paphos, Cyprus. The region, the diversity of people from different socioeconomic groups across the country. Here you are guaranteed to meet someone who has a different perspective, different point of view, different upbringing, different background, and you will be enriched by that and they will be enriched by you. So we provide a huge array of opportunities for students, whether in sports, clubs, community engagement, volunteering, or other activities that interest you. We have a peerless athletics facility. We have more than 100 cultural and other clubs. So these are venues for you to meet students, to challenge yourself, to learn about them and others. And finally, employability. AUB is far and away first in the Arab world and in the region in terms of the employability of its graduates. You will become part of an intricate network of students and future alumni who look after each other. Last night, I was emailing a tenured professor at Stanford, today talking to a businessman and woman in New York. And the same applies across all of the continents. We have people who are connected to AUB alumni and others in Australia, in Europe, Great Britain, the US, Canada, Africa, South America, and everywhere. So these are the 5 major reasons: reputation, research, variety, students, and high employability. But there are other reasons. I think the academic faculty in the US and in the world, maybe not so much in countries where there's one ruler, have become very, very accustomed to academic freedom to the point where they took it for granted, that perhaps freedom of discussion was something that just comes with being at a university. And we're seeing that's not necessarily true across the world. We are seeing that freedom of speech and of expression shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, but not here at AUB. This is an institution where opinions are diverse, they can be loud, but they're heartfelt and they're discussed in nonviolent ways. Don't take that for granted. The other is the opportunity to make friends who are like you and who are different from you. You will become part of a community here. This is a small university, relatively speaking. We have less than 10,000 students between here and Paphos in person and online. Think about that. People come here for the college and graduate experience, not just for education. That's harder for AI and other instruments to duplicate. And finally, this is an institution that's mission-oriented. This is following several decades where institutions have gravitated toward where's the greatest impact in terms of fame, fortune, and otherwise. Here you've got a faculty and staff who are moored to that mission, who believe in it, who practice it in their everyday lives. So these are 3 additional reasons that we would look forward this fall very much to telling you, welcome to AUB. Thank you very much.
So if that wasn't enough to convince you, we have a lineup of the deans or their representatives on the stage, and we've given them a very tall task, which is to represent their graduate programs in only 1 minute. But the reason we've asked them to do that is because there'll be lots of other opportunities in this event for you to hear much more about the programs and the faculties in depth. And this year we have a half hour for each faculty. You have the room numbers in your programs to really go in depth and ask more specific questions. So I'll hand over to
Good afternoon and welcome to AUB again. My name is Sawar Boujaudi and I'm the interim dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. The Faculty of Arts and Sciences was established in 1866, the same age as AUB. It promotes liberal arts and sciences education through diverse undergraduate and graduate programs, while serving as the university's gateway to higher and professional education. Through teaching and research, it fosters critical thinking, academic integrity, diversity, and free inquiry. I'm going to give you just an idea about the size and the number of programs at the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. We have 40 programs, 16 departments, and 24 interdisciplinary units. We have 28 graduate majors, 5 PhD programs, and 1 coming also, and 5 undergraduate diplomas and 6 online programs. We have 250 faculty members, 60 staff members. So it's a very diverse and very big faculty that I think serves a lot of people in the different areas. Thank you.
So I'm going to represent the Faculty of Medicine, and I want you to look at this: the faculty to lead, to progress, and to inspire. To inspire you, I just want you to close your eyes and imagine a building of 6 stories. The sub-basement has an animal house, the only in the Middle East, that is accredited by an NIH institution. And I want you also to close your eyes and imagine the whole building is a building for research and education. Nothing else. There is labs that you can enter and work on basic and translational research. But what is more fascinating is that just you cross the street and you can translate your basic and translational finding into clinical work, mean medical devices, new drug, new way of diagnosis, so on and so forth. This is what I can tell you. We have 10 MS programs and 1 PhD program, and I urge you to go to see the booth here and learn more about the Faculty of Medicine. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Samar Nuruddin. I'm the Dean of the Rafiq Hariri School of Nursing. Our school is the first in the Middle East, started in 1905. And we have 2 major graduate programs, the master's program and the PhD. Not many people know what a nurse will do after a graduate degree. We have a unique program at the master's level that graduates clinical nurse specialists who are specialized in special areas like adults, pediatrics, community, and mental health. And they learn a lot of skills that open lots of doors for them in various career options like advanced practice, research, education, and administration. Our 5th track is the Nursing Administration and Management track, and this is a blended one that is offered partly online and partly in person, and it graduates nurse administrators. We also offer the financial assistantship, and then the PhD program, which is the most recent one, is the only one in Lebanon and one of the very few in the region, and it graduates nurse researchers and academicians. So welcome, and if you want to know more, join our booth. I just want to mention that we also offer some online diploma and certificate programs that you can learn about also. So thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Imad Al-Haj. I'm Associate Dean of the Maroon Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture, representing Dean Alan Shhadi. President, we're always accused in engineering that we brag that we have the best facilities, best faculty, best staff, and best students. So I'm not going to do that today. But hold on. I'll brag about something, though. Because this, I think, event is not about us, and it's about you. And what I will brag about is what you will be able to do after you graduate from the faculty. And AUB in general, more so maybe from engineering because we're biased. Just look at the website of MSFEA. Please look it up. Look at Alumni Spotlight and see what our alumni do in a relatively short amount of time after graduation. Really impressive what you can accomplish in a very short time once you have the seal of approval of AUB. And that's all I'm going to say.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Ammar Olabi. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences. I'm going to follow suit with Dr. Imad Al-Hajj, of course, and say that imagine yourself graduating and ending up on the list of Forbes 30 under 30 for the Middle East in 2025. Well, that's exactly what two of our alumni did this year, one from agriculture, one from food science and management. The agri-food sector is really one of the fastest growing and the most influential sectors in the region today. And FAFS is at the core of this. Our programs tackle real challenges from food security to climate change to public health nutrition, sustainable production. Did you know, by the way, that every day the food losses amount to food that can feed 2 billion people, while hundreds of millions of people go hungry every night? Well, what if you can help make the change to tackle this dilemma? At our faculty at FAFS, we design smart irrigation systems. We create nutrition programs that reduce chronic diseases in communities. Whether you're an undergrad, just out of undergrad, or a professional looking for a new direction, FAFS is your place. Finally, I would say at FAFS, we face real challenges. We have big questions, and the possibilities for trying to make a difference are yours to seize. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Abla Sibai, the Faculty of Health Sciences. So I have 1 minute to convince you the what and the why about the Faculty of Health Sciences. Imagine yourself driving in a car in the city. You witness a car accident. Within a minute, an ambulance arrives. The rescue team jumps to the scene, pulls out the injured, and rushes them to the hospital. You think to yourself, wow, efficient, just in time, and they did a great job. Everything about this moment is visible to you. The accident, the urgency, the emergency, the nurse, the medical doctor, the medical response. But in fact, you have not seen it all. You have not seen the many health professionals behind the scene whose work are the ones who are driving this process to become meaningful and seamless. You have not seen the health professional, the health management, the health coordinator, the administrator who coordinated the whole system. You have not seen the researcher, the biostatistician collecting data to make the most optimal program for this response system. You have not seen the health communicator advocating and raising awareness about safety roads, about safe driving, about the use of seatbelts. And you have not seen possibly the policymaker, the health policymaker, developing programs and developing and enforcing the laws. So in a nutshell, you have not seen public health. Public health is the science and art of preventing disease, reducing injury, and improving the quality of life. Please join the Faculty of Health Sciences. Enjoy our programs. We are the only accredited school of public health in the Arab region, and we are the first one outside the Americas. Be the public health champion and be the change maker. Public health is your business. It is everyone's business. Thank you.
Hello, Lama Moussawi, Associate Dean for Research at the School of Business, OSB, representing Dean Sidani. At AUB, excellence in education is a legacy. And at OSB, this legacy runs deep. Just last year, we proudly at OSB celebrated 125 years of business education, making us one of the oldest and most established business school across the entire MENA region. Throughout the history of OSB, students are at the center of everything that we do. We offer many programs, many graduate programs at OSB. All of them are highly globally ranked. Our graduate programs rank the first in the MENA region, and they are globally recognized as per many global academic ranking agency. We offer MBA, Master of Business Administration, online MBA, Executive MBA, Master of Science in Business Analytics, Master of Finance, and Master of Human Resource Management. Our graduates are leaders in what they do. They go on to become analytics leaders, operations leaders, HR professionals, investment and finance managers, senior managers, general managers, entrepreneurs. They are placed in across sectors and industries, regionally and internationally. So if you are looking for a graduate business education that is academically rigor, globally relevant, and career transforming, we invite you to join us, to talk to us today, so that we can tell you more about what OSB has to offer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I now invite the next panel to join. You've now heard from the president and you've heard from the deans, and I'm sure you're very convinced. But we've all been a student, and we know that what's most valuable often is speaking to other students and speaking to alumni, because they have the lived experience. They know what it's like. They'll be able to tell you the good, bad, and the ugly. And so we'd like to welcome Dr. Jihad Touma and the students and alumni. Each of them are nominated by their faculty. So some are students, some are alums. And they're here to talk to you about the experience. And we've asked them to really focus on the high-level experience of being a graduate student, so not the specifics of being a student in their individual faculty. To understand more about the experience in particular faculties, you have the faculty booths and the faculty-specific session and all the conversations you'll be having in today's event. And just before I leave the podium and the others take over, I wanted to also say that you also have in this event all the representatives of the units who support students. So whether it's the libraries, the IRB, on the research side, the Office of Research, whether it's on the student experience side, the support side in terms of medical care, counseling, etc. All of those units are represented today, so you'll be able to talk one-on-one. And that's often a key part of your experience. So I welcome the other panel, and I'll hand over to Dr. Touma.
Hello, everyone. It's a truly impressive crowd. I want to start by thanking my dear colleague and friend Jocelyn for the invitation to take part of this activity. I must confess that I have been rather, what should I say, poor citizen in not having taken in any of the previous Graduates Council related activities. Maybe because I trust that we are doing a good job and that value will find its way one way or the other. But there is also work to be done, and we're here to basically complement the perspective of our senior administrators, president, deans, and dean representatives, who basically made such a pitch that I was confused about which faculty I wanted to join. And now I have a feeling I want to join all of them, which is typical of my character, which is also part of the subject of our panel. And when Jocelyn invited me to do this job, she spoke of my innate interest in multidisciplinarity. I don't know where she gets the idea, but I think there is some truth to that. I think we were trained to be universalists as students, and I think it was partially a mistake, but generally we try to do the best of it. And by being universalist, when we land on a campus or in a program, we are also specialists, of course, but we certainly want to explore around. We want to be part of what is happening. We want to learn about philosophy, about what's happening in history, what's happening in technology, what's going on in economics, and most importantly, what's going on outside campus, in addition to all the wonderful social dimensions that a campus experience is about as a graduate student. We're here to try to hear from students who are going to basically reflect on their experience around the graduate programs at AUB, and I thought by way of further contextualizing the conversation, I will talk about myself as a student considering graduate studies. Okay, so I had been asked to talk about many things, and I've decided in preparing for this meeting that it's not the right context really to talk about them. one thing that I felt I want to talk about in detail, I may not be able to talk about in detail, is what it was for somebody in the 80s finishing undergraduate studies, considering a graduate program in the United States. Imagine yourself, no internet, no websites, no email, no social media, nothing whizzing around about any program, and you're in the middle of a very, very active university and trying to find your way. How would you go about it? Of course, you have to work with your local network, your network of mentors, your network of advisors, the inspiring teachers, the wonderful students who have the opportunity to travel and come back and tell you stories. And then you have to go through actual literature. I spent hours in libraries learning about programs to decide which one has openings for that particular year. And then you actually go into your science and you decide, okay, this is a guy I want to work with. Where is he working? And ultimately I decided, yes, there was a guy I want to work with, and I'm going to do everything I can to work with him. Ultimately, I ended up landing close to him in a much more challenging department, but he is a remarkable fellow. And I ended up in a place where I was surrounded by a cohort of incredibly skilled and amazing people. Like, you're on top of the world and you find you're in the middle of truly remarkable bunch. And I can say that the graduate experience was about the camaraderie with that bunch. And I'm sure that your graduate experience at AUB will also be equally rich and enriching in view of the company of the people that you will end up keeping. But soon enough, we all decided that the department is not enough and we have to go outside the department. And we started exploring the campus and its offerings. Very rich and very stimulating experience. It was a difficult social, political, geopolitical time, and we were all very active politically, and that ended up also taking our time to serve the mission of our humanist tradition. After all, we were all functioning with that tradition. Again, that is something that I feel a graduate university experience is certainly geared for, and certainly an opportunity to open oneself for. You may wonder, okay, what next? What follows a degree from a prestigious institution? I must confess that I had no inkling whatsoever. So I'm not going to tell you that I looked and I figured out about the networking and what are the implications of doing this degree and what would this degree imply for my monetary stability. When I was asked by friends, what is it you're going to do when you're done, like professorship, etc., I was confused. I was honestly confused. And I simply said, I just want to continue doing what I'm doing. And that's all I saw. I want to continue having fun doing what I'm doing. And I think by joining AUB as a professor, and that is also another level of the story which I can also elaborate on, but I don't have time to elaborate on it. I was in a position to impart many of these experiences to students. And certainly this is a story worth telling, as I'm sure all of our faculty members have stories to tell about the challenge, the beauty, the exhilaration of working with truly brilliant students and guiding them to points where they actually achieve the desires that underlie their passion, which I'm sure have to do with producing meaning, value for themselves and their communities. So I'm sure this is all what is bringing you to this conversation, but this is not about me. I tried to convey to you what it was like for me to approach things as a student, try to put myself in your place, and it was a very different world, as you can imagine. And now I want to move to basically motivate the conversation through questions to a bunch of wonderful students which accepted to join this conversation from various faculties at AUB, various backgrounds. Some are still students with us. Some have graduated from programs at AUB. All have had to ask the questions of the before, the during, and the after, which is the way we will structure our conversation today. So by the before, we're putting ourselves in your position and we're asking, what is it? How do you go about actually picking a program in this day and age? Really, in your position, I don't know how I would go about doing it. Or maybe I would know how I'd go about doing it, but I'm not going to tell you. So the question to you guys, to our friends here and with us on the panel, how did you go about picking the program that you ended up joining at AUB? What did you go through? How did you investigate it? Did you look into websites? Did you have people you talked to? Were you advised to talk to someone? How did you do it? Please, go ahead. Introduce yourself and tell us.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rasha Darwish. I'm a PhD student at the Hariri School of Nursing. That's actually a thoughtful question, and I guess everybody attending today has his own or her own reasons to think of graduate school. But when it comes to me, initially, when I first graduated with a BS degree and started into the workforce working as a registered nurse, I did not graduate from AUB. Yet, you know, the first few years of experience, your priority as a fresh graduate is usually just to focus on the daily tasks of your job, the hands-on experience. It was my priority. I did not consider graduate school until like few years later. At that time, I started stretching more my tasks, handling stuff like mentoring other new nurses, taking roles in councils. I felt like, you know, that moment when you feel you are ready for a new chapter. I started considering going into graduate school. I did not think twice. I selected AUB. I looked into all the graduate programs and I decided to email the conveners of the programs. I set several meetings with them, and based on my meetings with the conveners, and they're extremely helpful in clarifying everything regarding the program, the opportunities, I was very thrilled and excited to join the master's program. I applied at that time to a full scholarship and waited impatiently. Fortunately, I got accepted into a full scholarship. However, having a full scholarship, you need to resign from your job. It's like a contract, and I had to resign, though I loved my job. Surprisingly, when I told my manager and the staff that I am leaving my job for the master's, I heard several negative comments that demotivated me. Like, really, you're leaving a stable job just to do a master's degree? What will a master's add to your career? Look how many people with master's degree that still do the same job like others without it. I ignored it at that time, and thankfully I did. I resigned and I started my graduate studies. I finished my master's degree, and here I am doing my PhD. And I can say that I haven't regretted my decision for a single moment. Yeah, so just my advice to you, don't really listen to people who are not truly the exemplar or the type of people you're wishing to be there.
Thank you, Rasha. Thank you. This is very good advice, and we were glad you didn't listen to whoever told you not to do what you ended up doing. Thank you. Okay, we're very limited on time. This is a subject that could be the subject of many a story, many a conversation. So we'll move on to the next dimension of being at AUB. You've heard from our colleagues about the programs and their offerings, and you'll have more occasions to hear about that. But through this panel, we want to also highlight the other dimensions of what it means like to be a graduate student at AUB, whether it involves being involved in work, trying to balance between work and studies, which is a challenge in itself, and we feel it. We feel it with our students across the disciplines, or whether because you have the ambitions to take part in activities or in contributions to your campus that go beyond the narrow area of research that you've been involved with. And here, we're trying to understand from some colleagues on the panel what was it like for them to be balancing these multiple dimensions of life at AUB?
Hello. Okay. Hello, my name is Michael Assis. I am a master's student in public health at the Faculty of Health Sciences, and thank you so much for the question. I would like to start off by saying that AUB welcomes everybody, and for answering the question, so basically beyond the classroom, from my personal experience, I believe that the campus, whether you are an undergraduate student or have not enrolled into AUB, the campus provides a lot of resources, whether pertaining to the gymnasium, to the community engagement center. So I had the opportunity to actually not only apply what I have learned within the program practically within my own work, but at the same time volunteering and conducting community-facing activities on campus and beyond campus. And definitely I would like to say as well that everything that I learned within my courses, I applied, and this pertaining to research, even practice, when it comes to my own community, and beyond when it comes to policy-related research as well.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Thank you. I want to add that being part of the graduate student community at AUB, not only do you have resources, but you are also a tremendous resource for your departments and for your broader community. And it's a resource for change, because we are also always at the lookout for innovative perspectives on problems that we are facing as a community. And our students have opened up the way for us. And I believe that our responsibility as faculty members is precisely to create that space where students can lead on transformative change within our communities. This is a very important part of our resource. And the graduate student societies that I hope will start popping up across campus, in addition to the ones that are already in place, I hope will actually add to the quality of life of graduate students on our campus. There is another aspect of doing research or being part of a graduate program, which is that it actually gets quite challenging at times. You may feel demoralized at times. You may feel like there is no opening. And at times, suddenly you have a breakthrough, and that breakthrough makes it all worthwhile. And I wonder whether we have experiences among our colleagues that reflect on such a breakthrough that led to some meaningful impact, and what it meant to them and how it was actually articulated. Any experiences on that front?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Noor Matou. I recently graduated from the biology department with a PhD in cell and molecular biology. Today, I'm here to focus on an interesting area students sometimes might neglect, which is the opportunities you get throughout your graduate degree or your graduate journey. First of all, during undergrad, I usually notice that students are or really care about the GPA and the courses and etc. Now, the graduate phase is interesting because this is where you can get into other related activity. Of course, you can also still focus on your GPA, but this adds to all the extracurricular research related and unrelated things like developing new skills. During the program, we were introduced to bioinformatics skills, which opens so many doors for us, data analysis, and etc. Our work ended up developing or initiating a patent. We ended up crossing into the business area, which is something I've never thought of when I first joined AUB or the program, which is very interesting. So what I'm really trying to highlight here are the opportunity you can take throughout your graduate, which are tremendously, it's a long list. They are so variable and you can really catch up on all of these things. So good luck.
Very insightful and certainly encouraging commercial activity at a fairly early stage in your research career. This is incredible. If I were to think of the graduate student experience, and it's also true of my undergraduate student experience, but that is particularly singular in some ways, it's certainly mentorship, okay? You get a chance to develop very deep intellectual relationships, but also that extends sometimes to advice across all areas of growth associated with a student life. Through the graduate program, through the research activity you end up being involved with, through the team that you join and the group activities that are associated with it. These are often life-lasting experiences. Some we try to get away from, and some that we want to stick to. So let's not get too romantic about it. It's a fairly challenging, demanding, and inspiring, but also can get quite complex in terms of the details of the work involved, the detail of the intellectual divergences that take place. Nothing trivial about it, but certainly all worthwhile. So I wanted to ask whether any of our panelists would like to comment on the experience of mentorship through their MS, MBA, or PhD experience.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Rana Al-Hassan. I'm currently a fourth-year PhD candidate in biomedical sciences at the Faculty of Medicine. I have previously completed my master's degree at AUB, and throughout my master's, I have had close mentorship from my thesis advisor. So during that time, I not only had the chance to learn different techniques, but I also had the chance to think critically, to learn how to think critically, and how to troubleshoot independently. And I feel like that mentorship evolved naturally as I went from being closely mentored to currently mentoring students myself at the moment. And it really feels like a full circle moment, even before graduating. And I feel like this is very meaningful, especially now as I approach the very final stages of my PhD.
Thank you, Rana. Thank you. Did you want to add a comment on that dimension? I felt, no, yeah, Cynthia.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Cynthia Fawaz. I'm a first-year master's student in animal and poultry science. Actually, my undergrad was also in AUB, so I just want to comment since day one until this day, I've received full support from my mentors. They never leave you alone, whether it was the staff, the members, the professors, and even the students. They've been by my side since day one. So you can walk into a classroom, they turn your ideas into real-world projects, and they stay with you until you finish, until graduation.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you very much. Okay, I was reminded that we have something like 5 minutes, and now less than 5 minutes. We have less than 5 minutes, and we now need to move to the after, not after the panel, but after your stay at AUB. What comes after? And how is it that your stay at AUB, your research work at AUB, your collaborations at AUB, the network that you were part of at AUB, you felt prepared you for what comes after? Anybody wants to comment on that? I see that you are particularly excited to comment on that.
Yes, I'm happy to answer that question. Hi, everyone. My name is Malak Bakkar, and I hold a business degree from AUB, and I'm also a recent MBA graduate. So to answer that question, I've really changed over the 1.5 years when I first started my master's until now. Less than 2 months ago, I was all over the other side of the globe in New York City, where I did my exchange semester as part of my graduate degree. I've represented my faculty in conferences also in the US and Texas, and I've taken an elective in Europe, all within 1.5 years. So my point is to say that AUB, a graduate degree at AUB, will unlock doors for you and will expose you to international levels that you would dream of when you were younger. And not to mention the on-campus experience, because I hold a scholarship as well, like Rasha. I got to live the dorm experience, and these were the best years of my life, and I really do encourage you to apply.
Thank you very much, Malak. Thank you. Thank you. For those of you who actually went through a PhD at AUB, how did you feel that your PhD experience prepared you for the work, for the research you've done after you left AUB? If you can comment on that, would appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Rosette Maria Bshara. I did my master's and PhD at the Maroon Samahan Faculty of Engineering and Architecture. In fact, the decision to join AUB was the best decision of my life. And I said it from the first day I entered AUB. Now I am an alumni, and this was the best decision because you will evolve in many ways. First of all, from academic perspective, you will not only dig deeper into your field, but you will also participate and contribute to the field. You start by doing research. So what is research? It is searching what is in the field and then trying to see what does not exist? What can I improve in it? And then it will be like a game. I will try to improve everything, to put all the things that I have and the things that I should learn. I try to learn into this, and in that we can participate to the development of the technology that we are in today. In addition, you will be able, for example, to meet the people who wrote the books you work in. You will be able to travel, to participate in conferences, to discuss with people you never thought you will be able to see them or to communicate with them. You will evolve from this perspective. In addition, you will meet some friends, real friends. Everyone here in AUB is very, very friendly. From the president till the person who is the security, everyone will look at you, will give you smiles. So you will never encounter someone who is not a good person. So of course you will meet people that will be your friends in the future, and the real friends. So I met in my lab a lot of people, and outside the lab, that became my lifetime friends, and enter AUB. So this is the thing I advise you to do. Thank you.
Rosette has a PhD from MSFEA, but she was comfortably enough talking and generalizing about AUB as a whole. Yes. This is very nice, very, very welcome, and it reflects actually on things that are up to MSFEA colleagues despite MSFEA. This is great.
AUB
this
is one. AUB is one.
Great. Okay, so any last words for our wonderful audience? I'm really so impressed by the audience. I'm also grateful for the time and the attention you gave us. I hope you felt it was well deserved. Any last comments? Any last piece of advice? Okay, we're being kicked. Yeah?
I would like to say that I commend every single person who is actively choosing to a graduate degree. It's an active decision, and we commend everybody who is actually just taking the first step to do so. So yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thanks again, Jocelyn and the Graduate Council, for a wonderful occasion. Thank you.
And I also forgot to introduce you, Jihad. So I wanted to say, you probably didn't guess, but Dr. Jihad Touma is a physicist. I don't think he spoke like a physicist. He spoke as a scholar. So I'd like to thank him and the panel. But the other hat I wanted to mention, he's wearing a hat, and I wanted to mention the other hat he has, which is he's the founding director of the School of Computing and Data Sciences, which you haven't heard about today because it's recently been established, but we'll be offering graduate programs. So next year, if you come to the open house, hopefully by then you'll be graduate students at AUB, but we'll be welcoming new students in those graduate programs. So once again, I'd like to thank our students and alumni, thank Dr. Jihad, thank our deans, and thank President Khoury. And now it's up to you to use the event for whatever is helpful to you. And remember, even after the event, we're here to help you pursue your passion. Thanks for coming.